So I'm going to tell you about this couple that had 2 young boys, and they were quite mischievous. They were 8 and 10. And their parents were kind of at the wit's end with these children. So what they did is they called their minister and said, hey, look, can you meet with these boys? Can you talk to them? Minister said, yes, of course. I want to see the boys individually, though. So they decided to send the 8-year-old first. So the minister sat the boy down and he said to the little boy, where is God? And this little boy just sat there and didn't say anything. So the minister decided to use a more stern tone. And he looked at the little boy and he goes, where is God? Still no answer. This kid just sat there. So this minister decided to really get in this little boy's energy, put his finger in his face and say sternly, where is God? So at that point, this kid got up, bolted out of there, ran home, and locked himself in the closet. Well, his 10-year-old brother decided to come on in and see what the heck. So he goes in the closet and he says to his little brother, what happened? And this little boy said, we're in real big trouble this time. They lost God and they think we did it. Thank you! Yay! She doesn't do that often, all right? I'm just saying. So, thought it was really a serious story, didn't you? So where is God? Well, here's the deal. We use Google all the time, don't we? We use it to get information, whatever kind of information that we want. Maybe we want to know the origin of something. Maybe we want to know how long that something has been around, or what the benefit is, or how to use it. Maybe we want to learn the meaning of a word or a phrase. We want as much information as we can get our hands on, don't we? We are definitely the information age. That is for sure. So let's say that you're curious about the origin of God, how long it's been around, or the real meaning. If you physically go in and literally Google God, I'm going to tell you what you get. God is believed, I love that word, to be the supreme being and principal object of faith. The concept of God, as described by theologians, commonly includes the attributes of omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, divine simplicity, and as having an eternal and necessary existence. Well, I suppose that sums it up. You can't do much more than all-powerful, right? And unlimited power and all-knowing. Even though that gives us a description of God, though, that question still remains. How do we make it work? How do we get results? How do we make something happen the way we want it to happen, right? Because that's who we are. We don't really get any definitive information from Google. We only get a vague description, and it's open for interpretation. That description certainly doesn't give us much information about making any kind of personal connection with that higher power, with God, with Source, with Spirit. We make our connection through prayer, through meditation, through spending quiet time in contemplation. So the next question of this morning is, what's the best way to pray? And I'm so glad you asked that question. Because I have a terrific answer. That's for you, Barbara. There were these 3 preachers, and they were discussing the best positions to pray. And over off to the side was this telephone repairman who was just doing his work. So the first preacher says, kneeling is definitely the best way to pray. No, said the next guy. I get best results when I'm standing up with my hands wide open to the heavens. And the third preacher said, you're both wrong. The most effective prayer position is lying flat, face down on the floor. Well, the repairman couldn't contain himself any longer after hearing this conversation. And he said, hey, fellas, the best praying I ever did was hanging upside down from a telephone pole. Now, we laugh because we get it, right? We totally get it. Something's not going the way we want it to. We don't feel good about what's happening. And so we go into this mode of begging and beseeching and pleading with God, right? It doesn't get us where we want to be. It absolutely doesn't. That's the most common form of prayer that people think of, is asking God for something, pleading with God for something. And you've heard me say numerous times, we already have everything we need. Everything is readily available. It's an abundant universe. That being the truth, what do we need to ask for? If it's already there, if it already exists. You've probably heard this, ask and it is given. Seek and you will find, knock and it will be answered. Prayer is how we talk to God, how we talk to Spirit. And I've heard that God has 3 answers to prayers, and I find this to be true. Let's see if you do. Yes. Not right now. I've got something much better in mind. Right? It makes sense to me that as we know that everything is always available to us all of the time, that we already have access to that which we desire. Not always does it look like we want it to look, right? But knowing that truth, knowing that we have everything available to us, maybe we should be using that different form of prayer. Affirmative prayer. An affirmative prayer is focused on a positive outcome instead of a negative situation. Big difference there. Because we all know about the law of attraction, right? What you're putting out, you're getting back. It's true, I tell you. Affirmative prayer is about expressing our gratitude for all that we have, all that is coming, all that has been. Whether we're thrilled with the way it looks or not, because, as we all know, and this too shall pass, nothing is ever permanent. Nothing ever stays. Affirmative prayer is about connecting with the Spirit within, declaring our positive beliefs, our faith about the outcome, knowing that it'll be in divine order, knowing it's for our highest and our best good. And truth be told, I believe that Jesus taught affirmative prayer. He said, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe you received it and it will be yours. Well, and that comes from a pretty good source. I'm just saying. Affirmative prayer acknowledges that we're being led to our highest good, despite any temporary appearances. Leads us to that awakening of our spiritual selves as we recognize that life is continuously blessing our lives with unlimited possibilities. And yes, I do mean unlimited possibilities. And with absolute faith during this affirmative prayer exercise, we pray giving thanks in advance that the universe is meeting our every need, that everything truly is in divine order, no matter what it looks like at the moment. And that's true for everything. I'm going to repeat that one. That's true for everything. It is said that practicing meditation is better than sitting around doing nothing. Can I get one here, Gina? No? That one wasn't even worth it, was it? Okay. She doesn't mean it. She loves me. Fine. Well, for thousands of years, people have been meditating. Maybe there's something to it. What do you think? It seems to be working. It's one of those things, it's not a fad. Well, prayer is a way for us to talk to God. Meditation is time for listening to God, because we become quiet and listen for that still small voice within us. Now, there are a variety of meditation techniques. There isn't one right way. Maybe you enjoy walking in nature. Maybe, I don't know why, but maybe you enjoy exercising. Right? Maybe you enjoy just sitting there and becoming still and listening to music. Maybe you need guided meditation. Maybe you just need stillness and quiet. It doesn't matter. Anything that takes you into the present moment is meditation. That particular activity that moves you into that timeless space where nothing else matters. And the really great news is you can't do it wrong, right? It's individual. It's whatever works for you. Because the essence of the various techniques is the absolute same. It's that cultivation of mindful awareness, of expanding our consciousness, of listening. When you meditate, you enter that space of internal quiet, internal expansiveness. And it's an important tool to use if we want to live consciously and not just be in that rut and in that autopilot mode where we just move around. Consciously being completely present with wherever you are and whatever you're doing, right? With meditation practice, you become more connected with your higher self. You become more connected with your surroundings, with other people, with the world, with everything. And you recognize more and more the interconnectedness of all things. There are so many benefits to taking even 10 minutes a day to sit in meditation, because it helps you gain that internal peace, that increased self-awareness. It's a great way to get clarity on anything that might be going on in your life, on your thoughts, on your desires, on your needs, your wants. You become more conscious of what you think, the way you think, what you feel. And those things are, getting that clarity, those things are really important in our day-to-day decision-making process. To have that clarity. As you meditate, you become more grounded. And when you're grounded, you become more present. You see the cycle here? Life begins to flow much more smoothly, and you find yourself calmer. You find yourself happier, because it helps to increase that awareness, your conscious awareness, your higher self. It promotes that inspiration that is within you that is trying like heck to get out. It offers solutions to the challenges that you might be going through in your life. Meditation naturally leads to a more intense and more intimate spiritual connection. And with that, you start connecting even more so with your intuition. And that intuition is what gives us that most insightful and valuable solution to anything we're going beyond our logical mind, beyond our ego mind. We're getting information from our higher self. So contemplation, and I don't have a joke for this one, okay? But we can laugh if you want. But contemplation is actually a form of meditation. It's something that I really personally like to do. It's about having a train of thought about something. Maybe it's an affirmation or a sacred verse or a mantra. And the idea is to be with that thought, let everything go, become still, become quiet, let everything go except for that one thought, and really be with it. And allow Spirit to speak to you. What does this mean to me right now today? And in a week from now, it might mean something different. What does it mean for me right now today? So we want to clear our mind of everything and let God communicate. Let God communicate through our heart, through our soul. And for that, we open our spiritual eyes, our spiritual ears, so we may hear and see. So you may not be able to Google some of what I shared today. However, if you go within, you're going to find a truth that resonates with you. I want you to think about this. Our cell phones, our tablets, our computers, they all require charging and plugging into a power source. How efficiently and how long would they work if they didn't have that? We need to be connected to our source as well. How efficiently would we be running our life without it? How much more efficiently could our life be with it? That's the real question. Make a commitment to stay fully connected to the divine through whatever works for you. One technique is not better than another. It's a personal preference. Any practice offers that opportunity to recenter and to focus as you allow that power and that presence to fill you. Prayer, meditation, contemplation, they're beautiful ways to connect to the higher self. They all strive to achieve something that seems to be an innate need for all of humanity, the need for communion with the divine. So if you're willing to risk the known, an abundance of peace and calm can be found and discovered in the unknown. Thank you so much for being here while I share this truth as I understand it.